My best friend joined me in the photo booth at a wedding. Then climbed into my lap and kissed me before the last flash. The last place I expected my life to change forever was inside a tiny wedding photo booth. It was supposed to be a joke, one more ridiculous memory from a beautiful afternoon filled with laughter, dancing, and old friends. But as the camera counted down to the final flash, my best friend suddenly climbed into my lap, looked at me with trembling eyes, and kissed me. That single moment froze more than a photograph. It captured years of hidden feelings, impossible choices, and a friendship that neither of us was brave enough to name. Sometimes the biggest love stories don't begin with a confession. Sometimes they begin with complete silence. Until one heartbeat changes everything. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to The Kindness Project if you believe that the greatest love stories are built on compassion, loyalty, and hope. Your support helps us continue sharing emotional stories that touch hearts around the world. The wedding was held on one of those perfect spring afternoons when sunlight seemed softer than usual, and every smile looked genuine. Guests wandered through gardens decorated with white flowers while music floated gently across the lawn. I had known the groom since college, but the only reason I agreed to attend was because my best friend, Rowan, refused to let me stay home. For nearly 8 years, Rowan had been the one constant in my unpredictable life. Through career failures, family heartbreaks, lonely birthdays, and quiet victories, Rowan never disappeared. Everyone assumed we were secretly dating, yet we always laughed the rumors away. It felt safer that way. Friendship was comfortable. Love was terrifying. Still, there were moments that confused me. Every time Rowan hugged me goodbye, the embrace lasted just a little longer than it should have. Every celebration somehow ended with us sitting together long after everyone else had gone home. Every difficult season became easier simply because Rowan existed. I convinced myself that this was what extraordinary friendship looked like, even though a quiet voice inside me whispered something completely different. Watching the bride and groom exchange vows unexpectedly stirred emotions I had buried for years. They looked at one another with complete certainty, the kind of certainty I had never allowed myself to feel. I realized how much of my life had been spent protecting myself from disappointment instead of risking happiness. As applause echoed across the garden, Rowan glanced toward me with an expression that seemed impossible to read. It wasn't happiness alone. It looked almost like sadness mixed with hope. The evening reception transformed into a celebration filled with dancing, laughter, and endless photographs. Friends pulled us into group pictures while relatives teased us about being inseparable. We smiled politely, pretending those jokes meant nothing, but every comment chipped away at the walls we had carefully built between us. Near the dance floor stood an old-fashioned photo booth wrapped in fairy lights. A handwritten sign encouraged guests to create unforgettable memories before the night ended. Rowan grabbed my wrist with familiar excitement and dragged me toward it. We squeezed inside the tiny booth, laughing because there was barely enough room for 2 adults. The curtain closed behind us, shutting out the noise of the celebration. The first picture captured us making ridiculous faces. The second showed uncontrollable laughter after Rowan accidentally bumped my forehead. The third was calmer. We simply looked at one another while the countdown quietly echoed inside the booth. For the first time all evening, neither of us pretended to joke. As the machine announced the final photograph, something unexpected happened. Rowan slowly climbed onto my lap, hands shaking almost imperceptibly. There was no laughter now. No performance. Only silence and 2 people carrying years of unspoken emotion. Just before the camera flashed, Rowan leaned forward and kissed me with overwhelming tenderness, as though releasing every word that had never been spoken. The flash illuminated tears that neither of us realized had already begun falling. When the curtain opened, the celebration outside continued exactly as before, completely unaware that our world had shifted forever. Neither of us spoke immediately. We walked quietly through the garden beneath strings of glowing lights while distant music blended with the evening breeze. My heart pounded with confusion, excitement, fear, and relief all at once. I kept wondering whether that kiss had been a mistake born from emotion or the beginning of something real. Eventually the truth became impossible to ignore. Rowan had spent years hiding feelings out of fear that one confession might destroy the friendship we treasured. Ironically, I had spent those same years doing exactly the same thing. We had both believed silence was protecting us, when in reality it had only delayed our happiness. The months that followed weren't perfect. Transforming lifelong friendship into a relationship wasn't as effortless as romantic movies suggest. There were awkward conversations, moments of uncertainty, and fears that resurfaced whenever life became complicated. But every challenge reminded us why our foundation was different. We already knew each other's worst days, deepest fears, embarrassing mistakes, and biggest dreams. Love didn't replace our friendship. It simply gave it a name. 1 year later, we returned to the same wedding venue after receiving another invitation from mutual friends. The old photo booth was still there, standing quietly beneath the same lights. This time, we stepped inside without hesitation. We smiled naturally because there were no secrets left to hide. The final photograph didn't capture a surprising kiss. It captured two people finally living the truth they had carried inside their hearts for years. Looking back, I realized the greatest miracle wasn't the kiss itself. The miracle was kindness. Rowan had always chosen patience over pressure, loyalty over selfishness, and understanding over demands. Those quiet acts of kindness built a love strong enough to survive fear, uncertainty, and time. Sometimes people believe extraordinary love arrives with dramatic speeches or impossible coincidences. But often it grows slowly through years of showing up, forgiving mistakes, and choosing someone every single day, even when they don't yet understand how much they mean to you. If this story reminds you of someone you've been afraid to appreciate, don't wait forever. Life changes in unexpected moments, sometimes inside the smallest spaces imaginable. One honest decision can rewrite an entire future. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and tell us your thoughts in the comments. Your support allows more people to discover stories that celebrate kindness, forgiveness, and second chances. Special request: comment below with the words, "True friendship can become true love," if you believe the strongest relationships begin with genuine kindness and trust. Not every unforgettable photograph captures a perfect smile. Sometimes it captures the exact second two hearts finally stop running from the truth. And years later, when everyone else remembers only a beautiful wedding, two best friends will remember that tiny photo booth where fear ended, courage began, and one final flash turned a lifelong friendship into a forever love.